Okay, number 7 is one that you definitely have less practice in. I put one of them on the notes, and I think it should have come up in your homework once or twice. But really, when you look at this, there's only one way to approach this as well. 3 terms like this, you want to solve this with factoring. So you have to unfoil this. You have to think about what times what gives you e to the 2x. So try e to the x times e to the x. That's a pretty safe guess. You have to make sure that the last part of your FOIL multiplies to -8. And there's lots of things that multiply to -8. Like -4 times 2 gives you -8. But the part that you guys sometimes don't check out is the whole thing has to FOIL when you're factoring. So if I did what I currently have here, if I did the outer combined with the inner, this would be -2 e to the x, and it's supposed to be -7 e to the x. So I have to think of a way to change this so that it still multiplies to -8. So I have to pick something besides 4 and -2, or -4 and 2. I don't remember what I picked. So you may not get it on the first try. Factoring is an important skill though, so you do need to work at it. But eventually you should try a +1 with a -8. That multiplies to -8 still. And now in the FOIL, the outer part of FOIL gives me one of these. The inner part of FOIL gives me -8 of those. So that combines to be -7 of those. Okay, so be careful with the factoring part. You have to recognize that and see that it's factoring, and then you got to make sure that if you FOILed yours together, that it gives you that. Okay, and then we can use it the same way you did in Algebra 2. If you've got this factor times this factor equals 0, 0 is a special number where this works out. If I can make this equal 0, then I don't care what that is, because 0 times anything gives me 0. Or if I can figure out how to make this equal 0, I wouldn't care what that was, because 0 times anything gives you 0. So you set each one of these equal to 0. You undo basic steps like undoing a -8 or undoing a +1. And then finally, like, I know this looks a little bit different, but you've done that before. You've factored before. You may not have factored one that looks like that before, but this is where the new steps really come into play. Exponential form, equivalent logarithmic form. Exponential form, equivalent logarithmic form. So I would be happy if you put this as an answer. I wouldn't count that wrong. I'd much rather you say natural log of 8 than log base e, since those are equivalent, and then this is how everybody else does it. Why would I not be okay with this as an answer though? Right, that's not in the domain. So regardless of what my algebra says, regardless that I factored it correctly, that part of the answer just doesn't make sense. You can't take the log of 0, you can't take the log of a negative number. Think back to what the log graphs look like without transformation. We could never take the log of 0, we could never take the log of a negative. So that's how you're supposed to know to throw that out.